Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We're here to talk about Decentre Studio. The idea behind Decentre Studio is fascinating, empowering users to build their own personalized AI data sets. Can you tell us a bit about the aha moment or the inspiration that sparked the creation of this tool? Was there a specific challenge you faced in your own AI work that led you down this path?
I'm extremely lazy in creating datasets. Good datasets take a lot of time and effort, and I've wanted a tool that does it for me for about a year now. As I started to plan and make it a reality, I thought others might want something like this too. And the more we worked on it, the more sense it made, and here we are.
That's a great point about the potential for wider impact. It sounds like you were scratching your own itch and discovered a need in the community. Now, I'm curious about the technical side of things. Decentre Studio is built as an extension for Automatic 1111. Can you explain why you chose this particular platform and what advantages it offers for your vision?
It's the open source standard, and being open source, which is hugely helpful in being able to integrate Decentre Studio. It has the biggest user base as far as I know. So it made sense to start there.
That's a strategic choice, leveraging the open source nature and the large user base of Automatic 1111. Now let's talk about the features. You mentioned auto object detection, auto captioning, and the ability for users to record data and provide feedback. Could you walk us through a typical user's workflow with Decentre Studio? How seamless is the process of generating images, capturing data, and curating a data set?
As the user creates images in Stable Diffusion, the extension detects these new images and logs them. The user then has the chance to sort them, which is the first stage of RLHF, which stands for Reinforcement Learning from Human Feedback, selecting what will be processed. Then the extension will run a detection model like YOLO to detect the objects in the images and separate out those objects into individual elements. So from one image we may get 5 or 6 elements, which are then processed by a second AI model, like Lava, which is image to text, to describe and create a caption for each individual element. Once it's complete, all the elements and captions are recorded into a relational database. The user then has the ability to review the image elements and captions, edit them, which is the second stage of reinforcement learning. Over time, we expect the user to accumulate a large amount of personal data, and this can be exported in image-text pairs, ready for fine-tuning of a new AI model. A third stage of RLHF occurs here from the settings of the image and text pair export.
Wow, that's quite a sophisticated pipeline you've built, incorporating multiple AI models and RLHF stages. It sounds like users have a lot of control and flexibility in curating their data sets. Now let's talk about the benefits. What are some of the unique advantages you see in using personalized data sets for AI training, especially in the context of image generation? How can this approach lead to more creative and tailored AI models? That's an exciting prospect.
Firstly, unique fine-tuned models based on the user's work in Stable Diffusion. Secondly, these models can be run infinitely on the user's PC with no subscriptions. Thirdly, fine-tuning does not censor the data, which large closed systems do.
Having a unique AI model that reflects your own creative style. I'm curious, could you elaborate on how these personalized models might manifest in the image generation process? What kind of visual differences or nuances could we expect compared to using a more general purpose AI model?
Stylistic differences. Firstly, the more that a model is fed a user-created images, the larger the imprint the user will have on the output of that model. An artist could develop a model that would be very close to their own style, and that has value. Stable Diffusion is used more and more to augment existing tools like Krita and Photoshop integration, and unique models will produce better, more predictable results. That saves time and produces better results.
Time saving and predictable results are definitely appealing, especially for artists integrating AI into their workflow. I'm curious about the technical aspect of fine tuning. What are the computational requirements for users who want to create their personalized models? Is it something that can be done on a typical consumer grade machine, or does it require more specialized hardware?
Training can be done on open source software like Dreambooth on a consumer PC, but there will be high VRAM requirements. We also plan to offer model training as a service on web portal Decentre.io.
Offering model training as a service on Decentre.io is a great way to make this accessible to users who might not have the technical resources. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. You've mentioned the term merge checkpoints quite a bit. Could you explain this concept in more detail and how it relates to your vision of empowering users to create unique checkpoints with Decentre Studio?
Merged checkpoints are made by basically taking two models and merging them to make a new model. And there's a few ways this can be achieved which produce different results. It can lead to better models over time repeatedly merging, but it's not very predictable. Our approach is to start with better data and mature a model, fine-tuning it several times.
So it sounds like Decentre Studio is promoting a more deliberate and user driven approach to model creation in contrast to the somewhat unpredictable nature of merged checkpoints.
Creating personalized models as a concept applies across all modalities of AI. We may look at others later on.
I'm curious about the long term vision for Decentre Studio. What are your hopes for how this tool will evolve and impact the AI community in the years to come? That's an ambitious vision, and it's exciting to think about the potential applications beyond image generation. Speaking of other modalities, are there plans to expand Decentre Studio to support text, audio, or even video data in the future? And if so, what kind of challenges and opportunities do you anticipate in those domains?
For text and audio, maybe one day we will make a stand-alone system, which is very important for privacy, that listens and tracks user behavior to augment a strong AI model, to create a sort of alter ego or assistant. It would be like talking to myself, a much more knowledgeable version. Aha.
That sounds like a fascinating and futuristic application, almost like a personal AI oracle or muse. But it also raises some interesting ethical considerations around privacy and data ownership. How do you plan to address these concerns as you explore this concept further?
Our policy on user data is very strict. We will not share or sell user data ever. The end no take-backsies. The entire concept of standalone systems like Decentre Studios is to give power to the users that other closed systems are using to modernize AI. It leaves users at a disadvantage and at the mercy of endless subscriptions while being scraped for data. It goes against our very purpose.
Thank you for listening. This interview was generated with the help of Gemini and 11 Labs. Please stay tuned. We will have more on Decentre very soon.